Good morning, all of you. Today is the first class of our 10th class, and we are going to start our section. And today we are going to study about real numbers. You are already familiar with these real numbers, and from the previous classes up to your 9th class, you have studied about real numbers. And I will give you a small brief discussion about some of the numbers which we have already studied in our earlier classes. I think you are very familiar with natural numbers, whole numbers, integers. These numbers already you have studied. What are natural numbers? Natural numbers are also called the counting numbers. These are the numbers which we use to count. Those numbers are what we call the natural numbers. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4 and goes further. So natural numbers are the numbers which is starting from the number 1 and going further forward. What is the difference between natural number and whole number? What is whole number? Inside this natural number, if you are adding a 0 to the natural number, that means along with this natural number, I already told you this is the natural number. Along with this natural number, if you are introducing a 0, if you are giving a 0 to this number, this natural number becomes the whole number. Clear? Next one, integers. Integers means it's a group of collection of positive numbers, negative numbers along with 0. That means the positive numbers, negative numbers and 0 all together we will say those are integers. For example, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. So these are the things which we have studied in our earlier classes, right? In this class we are going to discuss about fractions. What do you mean by fraction? Normally, in simple words we can understand the meaning of fraction means if any number, it can be written in the form p by q. That means there should be a numerator, there should be a denominator. For example, if you are writing a number as 1 by 2, it's a fraction. Another number, 1 by 3, it's also another fraction. Here 2 is the denominator, 1 is the numerator. Here also 3 is the denominator, 1 is the numerator. So like that we can say that these two things are fractions. And for these fractional numbers, we can say there are values also. There are values for these fractional numbers. What is the value? If you are dividing this 1 by 2, you will get 0.5. For example, I will divide you and show you here. That means 1 divided by 2. So 1 cannot be contained in the table of 2. So that's why we will put here a point and we will give, as we are giving here a point, we are able to give here a 0 also. So what happens? How many times? 5 2s are 10. So the remainder is 0. So the answer will be 0.5 and we are writing it as 0.5 and we will read it as 0.5 only. So here you got it. The value of 1 by 2 is 0.5. Let us go to 1 by 3. Let us take it out 1 by 3. In similar way, 1 divided by 3. How much? Again we have to give a point. Then here comes the 0. 3 3s are 9. Again remainder 1. Again it's not 0. So we can't stop it. We should stop it until and unless we are getting 0. Right? So here it is not 0. So again we have to continue. So what happens? Again we will add one more 0 because already we have given here a decimal point. And now again 3 3s are 9. Again there comes 1. Again we can give 0. Again 3 3s are 9. Again remainder 1. So it's continuing. It's not going to stop. Here 0.33333 like that is going to increase, and here 1 1 1 like that. Every time you are going to get a remainder. So it's not going to stop. So we can write here the value of this one will be 0.333 etc. See, these two fractions, there is a small difference between these two fractions. Here you can see it is getting a remainder 0 while doing this fraction. That means we are getting a perfect answer for that one. Or else we can say that the answer is recurring. It is stopping there. It is finishing there. It is terminating. That's the word. It is terminating. But here you can see it is not terminating. It is continuously going ahead. So normally we can say these numbers are, there are some fractions means after a particular value we will get a perfect answer for that one, or it will come to an end. But here you can see it is going on endlessly. So normally these typical type of numbers are what we call decimals. So normally we can say fractions can be represented as decimals, right? Fractions can be represented as decimals. So these decimal numbers, we can say there are two typical types of numbers, which is what we call a rational number and irrational number. We are going to come to that topic. So before that one, let me come to another one, decimal numbers. These decimal numbers, they can be categorized. Again, they can be categorized into two. So normally we can say here it is a terminating decimal, there it is a non-terminating decimal, right? There is a terminating decimal, there is a non-terminating decimal. So we can say terminating and another one non-terminating. So here you can say it is terminating and here it is not terminating. And see, since some fractions, when we are doing here, this fraction, this number was non-terminating, it is not going to stop, it is going over, it is not stopping. So when we are doing some particular maths, we can understand that some numbers, when you are doing the decimals, you can see, you may get the answer 0. This 3, when it is recurring, this number when it is recurring, we can represent this number as 0.3 bar. 3 bar. We will put a small hyphen on the top of that one. We will read it as 3 bar. Bar means that number, that particular number is repeating. For example, if we are writing 6.76 bar, that means 6.7. Here you can see the bar is on the top of 6. So we can say that 6 will be repeating. The 6 will be non-terminating number. It is going over. For example, if you are writing 5.34 and on the top of 34, if you are putting the same bar, the meaning of this is 5.34, 34, 34, and like this it will be continuing like this. So that is the meaning of bar. In some particular fractions, we can see that they are not terminating. They are not terminating. But in some fraction, we can say they are terminating. Right? There are two different types. And this non-terminating also, they are again categorized. They are categorized because here you can see it is repeating. It is repeating. Proceed. So right now, what I told means there are two typical types of decimal numbers. One is terminating decimal, one is non-terminating. Inside this non-terminating, let me come to that one. See here you can see this is repeating. In other words, we will say it is recurring. Okay, that's the word. We will not use the word repeating. We will say it as a recurring. So here the number is recurring. It is again and again. It is further repeating and going. But when you are calculating some particular fractions, when you are finding out the decimals of particular fractions, you can find one thing that some numbers are like this, that they will never recur. They will never repeat. They will not, even though they are not terminating, even though they are not going to terminate, even though they are not going to stop, they are continuing, but they are not repeating numbers. That means here, for example, 4.6334333977, like that. It is continuing. See here, you can see 343434 was recurring. Here 6 is the recurring number, but here you can see no numbers are recurring. So this is the second category. So we can say even though they are not terminating, the first one when it is recurring, the second one it is not recurring. So categorizing this much, first of all I told you what is fractions. Fractions is a number which we can write in the name of p by q. That means there should be a numerator, there should be a denominator, and this fractions, for this fraction you can find a decimal number, and from the decimal I told you there are two typical types of decimals. One is terminating decimal, means here you can see for 1 by 2 you got 0.5 as the answer. It is terminating. Non-terminating means it is not stopping. Not stopping, there are two typical. Non-terminating, there are two typical types. One is recurring, which is repeating. Another one is non-recurring, that means which is not terminating. So this much things are there. And one more very important thing to understand, from any fractions you can bring them to a decimal number. Clear? If you are getting any fractions, you can bring them to a decimal number. Likewise, the decimal number also you can bring back to a fractions. If it is a terminating decimal, you can bring back to a fraction. If it is a non-terminating decimal, you can bring back the fraction. But one more thing to remember, it should be a non-terminating recurring decimal. if it is a non-terminating recurring decimal, you can bring back to fractions, which we have studied in our 9th class. This year also we are going to study a little bit about that one. So if it is a non-terminating and recurring decimal, you can bring that particular decimal number to fraction. Whereas if it is a non-recurring, non-terminating decimal number, it's a very important point. If it is a non-terminating and non-recurring decimal number, you can never ever bring back to a decimal. You can never bring back that to a fraction. You can never represent them to a fraction. So whenever, if it is a terminating decimal or if it is a recurring non-terminating decimal, then only you can bring them back to fractions or you can make them into decimals. Whereas non-terminating decimals, you can never bring that particular decimal number back to the fraction number. So this is all about our fractions. So this much is a recap, and in the next class we are going to study how to understand this recurring decimals or how to make this non-terminating recurring numbers back to a fraction numbers. Like that we are going to study details in our next topic. God bless you all.